Hello and welcome to PlayStation Racer. My name is Mitchell Morgan, and in this video I want to touch on winning the race in the first corner and also rejoining. The reason for this video is we've introduced penalties this week into my lobbies, and I had to unfortunately assign a penalty for something that was said in the chat. But that led me to take a look at the replay to try and see why that comment was made, because it was a little bit out of character. And it's not something that we normally do on the channel. And what I found was a classic example of cars trying to win the race into the first corner and the issues that that can present, and also how frustrations can kick in. And also I found that, well, I had an incident which wasn't great and caused a problem as well. We'll get to that one a little later, because I can't pick on everybody else without picking on myself as well. So in this race, we're at Sardegna, the Sardegna B track. We're preparing for the Super Touring Car Championship that is going to be run this Friday. So we've got some people in here that are trying to run this race very, very seriously, to sort out their strategy, to learn the track, etc. It is Monday and the first night that we're running this, but nonetheless, we still need to be minded of incidents like this that we're seeing in real time. See all those cars are bunching up into the first corner, the banging and the crashing that's going on. At this point, frustration is setting in. People are getting a bit annoyed. We've got more banging and crashing going on as we go through the next corner. And this really continues for the first 3 or 4 corners before things really settle down. Now, one of the things I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to look at these little clips in real time, and then we'll have a look at them in slow motion. So the slow motion is going to be slowed down to half speed, and at the moment, as I said, we are riding on board with this little Silvia, the red, white and blue car. Off the line, we've got a nice little run down into the first corner, and really you want to be braking on that 100-meter board or just after, because of the cold tyres. Yes, you can brake a little bit later than normal when you're going into this first corner, but you're still got to be minded that you've got very cold tyres. So although you're going into the corner slower, you've also got to be very aware that you haven't got the grip that you're going to have from the tyres once they've got warmed up. And as you can see there, everybody bunched up, everybody was banging into each other, and then that carried on for the next couple of corners. And even as we go into this corner, you can see that the Alfa there just getting into the car in front, backed out. Then the Silvia sort of coming across, the Alfa gets into the side of the Silvia, which upsets the Silvia. The Alfa's then also across the grass, and basically things are just continuing all the way through these first sequence of corners until we get to this little downhill section when things sort of start to settle out. So at this point you can sort of start to maybe get on with your race. Up until that point, in my mind, you really want to be driving a little bit more carefully. We will see a careful driver doing that in a moment. So I've just dropped back about 4 cars. We're on board with this blue Silvia now, and we can see it from this car's point of view. So going in here, again, probably need to be braking between the 100 and the 50-meter board. If you're out front, you can brake on the 50-meter board into this corner. But if you're mid-pack on cold tyres, there's just no way you can do that, because everything is going to bunch up. And then you're just going to be heading towards the back of a car. You're going to be running into the back of them. People are going to be complaining, etc., etc. So again, what we'll do is we'll just drop back to the replay, and we'll have a look at this from this car's point of view going into that corner. So off the line, again, everything is all okay. Admittedly, we could be doing a rolling start for these races in the lobbies. This may well rule out some of this and stop some of this type of thing happening, but I do like grid starts. It's a little bit more real in my mind, and really we need to learn how to handle grid starts. So as you're going down into this first corner, you could see that maybe everybody's looking for brake lights. The front runners will be able to brake a little bit later, but as people are getting further and further back in the grid, you've got to be much more aware and minded of your braking. and you can see there that we've got loads of corners, maybe 4 wide, trying to get through that corner, which is never going to work. You've also got people bunching up, and of course then everybody's getting their tempers frayed. Even in this corner, we still trying to go sort of 2, 3 wide. The Alpha comes on, catches the Silver pushes the Mustang out onto the side of the road. And even as we go into this next corner, we're still side by side. So now I'm going to go on board with the Corvette. This Corvette driver, in my opinion, is one of the cleanest racers in my lobby. I've had some great side-by-side action with this racer, and very, very respectful. But you could see brakes nice and early, even though he could probably have braked a lot later theoretically with the slower start, that you're not carrying quite so much time, so much speed into that first corner. He's braking nice and early to make sure that he doesn't get into the issues. Again, on this corner, braking nice and early, just staying out the way of all of these cars that are banging and crashing. He does get a little bit into the side of the blue one there, a little bit of paint swapping, but that wasn't too bad. But again, now he's backing out, going around the outside. The blue one gets a better run. And as we head down the hill, hasn't really made up any places. Again, we'll have a look at this one in slow motion. This is going to be a little bit of a longer clip in this video, but I think it is worthwhile watching how this racing driver approaches the beginning of this race. So again, off at the line, the yellow and blue car on the right hand side has possibly got a better start, maybe better traction, better reaction to the lights. But these two cars know as they head into the first corner that they're pretty much going to be side by side. So the yellow and the blue car stays out to the right hand side, whereas the Corvette, the white car that we're on board with, hugs the inside line and makes sure that he's not going to drift out too wide, that he can keep that clean. And both these two cars, the blue and the yellow and the white car, very respectful through this early part of the race. Again, into this corner, you can see that that gap in front is closing. You can see that we've got cars coming off of the grass, across the curb. You can see cars that are going out to the right hand side. So again, he's holding this inside line, which is not the racing line. It does make these corners a little bit more acute, but he's just slowing it down and staying out of trouble. At this one, he just gets squeezed a little bit on the inside there, and as he gets squeezed, just goes a little bit towards the centre of the track. But he's also got to try and make room for the Alpha that he's rejoining. And then as we get into this corner, the blue car is up the outside. He concedes the corner, he lets the blue car go, tucks in behind and retakes his position. So I don't think he's actually made up very many places at this point. But this particular car, starting towards the back of the grid, goes on to get, I think it's 5th or 6th place, I can't remember exactly which, by the end of this race, by having a conservative approach to the beginning of this particular race, where lots and lots of action is going on. He's picking his overtakes, he's watching his braking points, driving the track, and after all the shenanigans are over, he'll just simply pick off the places. You can see here already more cars, 2 more getting into each other in that corner. So there we go, places being made up. Overtook the 2 cars that got into each other, plus the car that got slowed down by that. Now we'll join me. Where I go off, I get thumped big time from the car behind into the barrier, and I'm thinking, what on earth is going on? Well, this is an example of why you need to call or look at the replay before you call anything out on the chat or in the game. For me, I've gone off the track. I'm then just trying to join, but as I join, I get it up on the curb. That puts me midway across the track, and then I get punted from behind by the Hurricane. Absolutely nothing the Hurricane could do about that. That was all on me with a very, very poor rejoin. So you do need to think, if you've gone off the track, you've got to think how you're going to rejoin the track. So we're just on board with a slowed down version of this one. Just on the follow cam, but we're following my car. So I'm going through this corner. I can see that I've got a car behind me, just closing the door on that one, trying to carry a bit more speed through the corner, which then puts me across into the gravel. I then come off the brakes slightly just as we're into the gravel, and unfortunately as we come across, I'm a bit acute, I'm on the brakes to try and keep out of the way of the car coming from behind me, but unfortunately there is nowhere for him to go and he punts me around and it's all over. This is it from the Huracan's point of view. This is nothing on Huracan at all. This is all about me rejoining badly and trying to educate people to think about how you're going to rejoin. You can see totally unsighted, nowhere to go, hits me, but this is the good bit. Look, he's hit me, my race is over, I've spun around, he waits. This is the courteous thing that we do in our races. He's waited for me and then we will race together. It's as easy as that. That is the one rule that we try and apply within our racing. So, morals or lessons to be learnt from this video. Please think about how you are approaching the first few corners of a race. Now we're all on the same compound of tyres, so we can't even turn around and say, oh well, some are on one compound and some are on another. We're all on the medium compound tyres. Please just think about your braking zones and how the cars in front of you are going to slow down as you go into that first corner and then the second corner. Don't lose your head. If you do get involved in a little bit of a bump, just maybe back out a little bit as the Corvette did. I mean, didn't get involved with anything, but he stayed back a little bit, watched what was going on, picked his overtakes, and then throughout the rest of the race just picked places up as he went through and had a nice race, nice and clean, and a decent finish. And of course, if you do go off the track like I did, please think about how you're going to rejoin. Don't panic and thinking, I've got to get back on this track soon, I'm going to be losing places, because there's a fairly good chance that you're going to have a poor rejoin as I did. You're going to wind up getting into somebody else, wrecking their race. They're going to put you into an even bigger issue, such as I had, where I got completely punted off into the barrier. I then got damaged, the tyres were mucky and dirty, and I just had a really bad rejoin and my race was basically over. So those are my two lessons: tyres and temperatures and braking points into the first corner, and then rejoin. I hope you found this video useful and informative. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Please leave me a comment on your thoughts on this one, and if you're new around here, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on another video coming very soon. For now, thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.